All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. I saw a question from somebody who said Xbox is flip-flopping on their message, and now it seems Xbox is delaying its movement to other platforms and so on and so forth. I don't necessarily understand a lot of what is being implied here, and I guess I can read the comments so that we can pretty much go through it. So shout out to you, Most Hype One, and I think your comment is one that's very interesting. So let's take a very interesting, let's take a very interesting approach, which we'll see what you're saying. We'll see what Phil Spencer said, and then we'll kind of top it off with what Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft as well, has said. They said, which is it now, VG? Xbox is thinking of delaying games going across to PlayStation. I've not heard this. I've seen this this is the second time I'm seeing this comment, bro, but I don't see any reports that actually is saying that. In fact, the latest report from Jez Corton said Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella addressed shareholders today to discuss Xbox gaming, implying that it will continue its multi-platform Project Latitude strategy. Some think will kill Xbox hardware ecosystem. Yeah, because all of you would have been hired as CEO if you guys knew what the heck you were talking about. So, I mean, if you and Satya Nadella sat across the table, right, and you guys were trying to do business strategy, and he said he thinks that, moving, games to another platform to sell and make money for Microsoft is viable, and you said no, you would have to kind of debate your point. I have a feeling he would have something, that has a lot of weight to say to the matter. And in seeing the way things are going and seeing the way Call of Duty is is eating right now from PlayStation and, from everywhere, I'd say there's a point there that he's got because the data just is very supportive of what's going on. Activision this says ABK deal. Phil promised games will only be exclusive for Game Pass subscribers. I don't understand what this is. Then he says games announced that are going to PlayStation. Xbox fans are not happy. Xbox fans are not happy, saying they're happy with the strategy and they're making free money off of PlayStation. Well, yeah, it's what Xbox players were supposed to have understood the moment the deal was going through, because they weren't going to remove it from PlayStation. PlayStation, sells a ton of Call of Duty copies, and so that was going to be the case. And then they said now Xbox is thinking of delaying games exclusives going to PlayStation. And now Xbox are saying that this is what they should have done in the first place. Again, I don't know where you're getting this report from. What we're seeing, and even this is Satya Nadella's letter, and I'm going to read it for y'all here, and we're going to see. And then they said, okay, now, it says, now Xbox fans are saying this is what should have done in the first place. And then it says, these flip-flops are flopping more than ever. Uncle Phil is pivoting more than my son changes his diapers. I think you want to just clown Xbox in this situation because, again, we can always find a scenario too, or not even a scenario. I can actually simply point you a scenario where PlayStation was flip-flopping, as you call it. The reason you're seeing this is because they're adapting to the market changes. This is what you do. If you're a business that wants to thrive, you follow the market, you adapt to what the market is demanding, and that's how you stay in business. PlayStation right now did not make many moves to change its strategy at all. That's why PlayStation came out. And I'm going to point out, for many of you who continue to ignore this particular document, I'm going to, here we are. They were like, oh my gosh, this document has replaced the Gotham Knights mania. Oh, yes, it has. Because most of my fellow, PlayStation fans, we don't like to learn. PlayStation was telling us that here's what's going on, that this is how things are going to go down because of Microsoft's ability to supply video games, because of Microsoft's capability of acquiring Activision and putting it everywhere in terms of their games, Game Pass, and so on and so forth, that this was going to happen. And then in their own analysis, look at it right here. If you follow my mouse here, okay, it says this. It says Sony's pillars are already dated and behind the competition. Easily. That Activision deal and Microsoft's position in the whole market really did knock them out. Like they literally, their teeth flew out. They didn't know what was going on because Satya Nadella, and I said this a long time ago, I said, guys, Satya Nadella is not a regular kind of competitor. He's somebody that is an exceptional human being. When he said, if it's competition we want, let us compete, I guarantee you goosebumps ran down Jim Ryan's body, because that was not a normal kind of, call out. That was That was from a deep level. I imagine it where he said it. Jim Ryan gets up, jumps on a plane, and freaks out and flies all over the world and starts to talk to everybody like, "Oh my gosh, you can't let this deal happen. You can't let this deal happen," because they knew that whatever plays he had in mind was going to be going in for the market, where it will strike at the heart of the market. It was literally a phone call where Bobby Kotick and Phil Spencer were talking, and then as it came up, I think that's how it says, they said it in the FTC deal. Phil Spencer said, "Would you like to speak with, my boss tomorrow?" They had the conversation. They'd probably run the numbers that, their analysts, their accountants, and they knew exactly how they were going in for this deal. And they gave every concession for this deal to happen. They even gave away cloud gaming. So with all that in mind, let's go ahead and read Satya Nadella's address. And I think this is going to help us see what's going on here. So Mr. Moshype, follow exactly what the statements are saying here from the top. We're bringing great games to more people. This is part of the address for this, the annual report. With people on more devices, with our acquisition of Activision Blizzard King, which closed October 2023, we've added hundreds of millions of players to our ecosystem. We now have 20 franchises that have generated over $1 billion in lifetime revenue, from Candy Crush, Diablo, and Halo to Warcraft, Elder Scrolls, and Gears of War. And with Xbox Cloud Gaming, look at this. We continue to innovate to offer players more ways to experience the games they love, where, when, and how they want. An audience member of mine was asking me yesterday, what did, Xbox Play Anywhere actually benefit console players? And I was laughing because I asked them, I said, "Do you play on Xbox?" They don't play on Xbox. If they did, they'd know. They thought it was pretty much something that was only for PC players. They forgot that there's cloud gaming, which you can, if once it starts to, unfold even more and more, and Xbox has opportunity like they do now with the Android, side in terms of Google Store, you're going to start seeing the potential here. I've been looking at it since people were playing Starfield in their Teslas, and I was like, this is wild. This is exactly what PlayStation is reeling from. They have not positioned themselves in the market. They're trying to sneak back around to do these money-hatted deals. And eventually they're going to be irrelevant because Xbox has so many games, so many services, so many ways to deploy games. It won't even make a dent in the conversation. Look at who is thinking about PlayStation right now. Xbox has stolen the whole scene. They're going to take it for October. In November, they're going to keep it. And then in December, they're going to keep it. And then in February, they're going to keep it. You just watch and see what's going to happen to the PlayStation brand. With all the IPs that are going to be hitting from Bethesda, from Activision, from Blizzard, from Microsoft Studios, everything all together wrapped up and put on Game Pass. It's a whole different conversation right now, guys. And then they said this. Finally, we brought 4 of our fan favorite titles to Nintendo Switch and Sony PlayStation for the first time, as we continue to extend our content to new platforms. As we continue. So again, there's no confusion here. They are moving these games. Now, you may say maybe the flagship game of Xbox, which would be Halo, and something like a banner type game, which is Gears of War. You may say those games may not move to other platforms, or maybe signature games like Forza. But if you see any other game that's coming from possibly Bethesda that's capable of making a lot of money, they're going to move. In fact, some games have already been, it's already understood that you're going to get a game like, Doom Dark Ages as a multi-platform game. If you're holding on to the old school side of, exclusivity, you don't understand Microsoft's business model. If you're over here thinking that them moving their games is a sign of weakness, if I've seen PlayStation players also do that, you don't understand Microsoft's business strategy. I'm sorry, because they've been telling you. Now, yes, there is a situation where they could say case by case, where they leave some games on Xbox to keep a unique selling point to Xbox. That's perfectly fine. Like I've said, Starfield right now, because the game has been profitable, I know contrary to what a lot of these PlayStation, bros of mine think, Starfield did well. It was in the platinum list on Steam. It literally rocked. There's just no world where I don't see, Starfield being held down as a permanent exclusive, yes, perhaps it could move, but hey, because of its sales, because of its profitability, I think it's probably going to stay on the Xbox ecosystem. And if it doesn't, it's them basically wanting to expand and go into PlayStation territory and pretty much make money and keep the Bethesda brand super profitable in that regard. It doesn't really change anything, ladies and gentlemen. Believe you me, Bethesda games are going to be going to PlayStation anyways. Now they could just treat it like Activision, where yes, the games are going to be going to PlayStation, but the profitability just remains with them. Remember this, 70% is greater than 30% every single time. Your little, and I gotta say this, your little, fan warm heart thing that you've always done or enjoyed back in the day, that world is gone. Satya Nadella does not share it. Phil Spencer may have a little bit of, sensitivity to it, but here is time for business to business. And with this in mind, you're going to see shifts continue to, happen in the gaming industry. Brace yourself, all of you. PlayStation fans, you acted like Xbox had nothing all this while. And I kept telling you that PlayStation has not positioned itself to respond properly. And at this moment in time, I strongly believe you're about to see it play out. The downplaying and everything, look at it, how it all washed away. Just do you see how fast everything got quiet? Aha, that's about how you're going to hear it pretty much with PlayStation. Now, other developers, what are they going to do with this? Well, they're going to follow the Pearl Abyss route. I mean, what do you think they were going to do? They were going to abandon Xbox? Nah, Xbox is a growing ecosystem. They're now thinking outside of the box. And that's exactly what developers who are looking at coming to Xbox are probably also going to be doing. Thanks for watching the video. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Peace out.